Tom Fitton. He is the president of Judicial Watch. He has a new book in addition to everything else. The book is entitled A Republic Under Assault, the Left's Ongoing Attack on American Freedom, available for pre-order now. We recommend it to you highly. Let's start with, here we are, September 4th. And all of the wags, all of the pros, and all of the politicians telling us, and indeed many sources saying, Durham will have something for us by September 4th, because that's 60 days out from the election. And you know the Justice Department is proud of its standards, its traditions, and wouldn't want to interfere with an election like it did for, throughout 2016 against Donald Trump. What poppycock. Your thoughts?
Well, Lou, as you know, Judicial Watch didn't shut down because they appointed a special counsel. We knew what the likely outcome was going to be. The Justice Department investigating itself wasn't going to provide the information necessary for the American people for accountability. And, you know, the president should now recognize that it's unlikely that there will even be a report before the election. Let alone any major indictments. They haven't questioned Obama, it's pretty clear. They haven't questioned Biden, even though in the least they're witnesses. Why hasn't Hillary Clinton been questioned? She gave the money to the dirty dossier creators. Well, you know, it's a rhetorical question.
You know why she's been I understand it's a rhetorical question, but it's also a question.
Right.
And the fact is, there are answers here. And the answers are she owns sizable parts of what is now a federal government that should be under the control and leadership solely of President Trump. But it's high levels of influence in the Justice Department, the State Department, the FBI still of Clinton and of Obama. And it's outrageous to see.
And the intelligence community is continuing with the Russia smears. Every criticism of Biden, it turns out, is some part of grand Russian conspiracy. You think he is mentally deficient or has dementia? Oh, that's the Russians pushing that. You have questions about mail-in ballots? Oh, that's the Russians pushing that. They are continuing because Durham and the Justice Department and the FBI haven't done anything. They're continuing to abuse their powers to try to target Trump and change the outcome of the elections. It's happening again, Lou.
Oh, it's happening again, and as you would point, I think on most evenings you would say still happening.
Right,
and you've been right in your skepticism. I'll call it skepticism, not cynicism, because skepticism is what results when cynicism is right. The fact of the matter is we're going to be disappointed again. We already are as of today. And William Barr is talking about going after Google, fighting off the fiendish professional career attorneys in the Justice Department in order to do right and do justice. My God, what in the world? Why has there been no house cleaning in the Justice Department?
I have no idea. The Civil Rights Division isn't doing anything to clean up the election rolls. They're opposing everything we're doing in terms of trying to get accountability. I mean, we just got documents that the FBI was spying on Trump in response to his tweets critical of Obama spying on him. We got information the Ukraine embassy was spying on the Trump team, his family, his lawyer, with illicit monitoring of their social media accounts, likely in violation of the Privacy Act. All of this is coming out. And the Justice Department has little or nothing to do with it. In fact, they're usually obstructing us. State Department holding back information on Biden and the information we just received. They've been sitting on it for 8-9 months, Lou. And so I tell you, I'm not a cynic, because if I were, Judicial Watch wouldn't be doing the work. But we're doing it on behalf of the American people, because the Justice Department and the FBI and the deep state are AWOL.
Yeah, and the other thing is, as you mentioned, the Ukraine, U.S. Embassy in Ukraine would have been, they're the ones who let poor John Solomon, poor Lou Dobbs know that they were being monitored because of the initiative.
That's right. You were on the list.
That if it were for you. You know,
Lou, you're a crime. You're a crime victim too. You and the president.
Well, I'm a crime victim, but
I'm serious.
Well, I am too. And you know what? I'm really proud of the fact that I'm on the enemies list of the people trying to overthrow a president. I'll take that every time. And I know you will as well. And thank you for all your good work you did on that. I want to turn, though, to mail-in ballots. The former vice president, who is referred to as vice president by many of the media when they do get the rare opportunity to talk to him, Biden today, the reporters asking him questions, one had the temerity to ask about mail-in ballots and styled the question really this way about what a subversive idea it is to stop mail-in ballots, and didn't refer once to the Carter Baker study on precisely that, mail-in ballots, which found it was a fraudulent, a fraud waiting to happen, recommended against by both parties for almost 15 years. And suddenly the Democrats think it's a brilliant idea, and the reporters don't even have the sense to ask questions about why the Dems are insisting on mail-in ballots.
Well, every election expert used to be against mail-in ballots. Everyone used to be against because they understood it was an opportunity for fraud, increased risk of voter fraud. If you vote by mail, your vote is more likely to be compromised, intercepted, not counted, or if it is counted, challenged. If you want to ensure your vote is counted, the best way to do it is to vote in person. And right now, the left has set up a system that could break our elections. I fear they're planning violence if they don't win. I fear they're planning to kick it into the House if they don't win. Literally, you can read about it in the New York Times. They're threatening secession, planning secession by certain states in order to get the electoral outcome they want. In many ways, the left has moved beyond voting. It's a power play from here on in, I fear.
Well, it's a power play, but not only in mail-in voting, but it's a power play by Antifa and by Black Lives Matter, which are adjunct, whether Marxist organizations or not, an adjunct operation in both cases of the Democratic National Committee and the Democrat Party. It is outrageous, and in each instance, it is enabled and permitted and encouraged in Democrat-run cities to unfold. We'll be watching 100th night of street violence in all likelihood tonight in Portland, more rioting all but assured, in the name of what? Not George Floyd, but in the name of what? Marxism, if it's Black Lives Matter, and it is working with Antifa.